guys, Jenna here, and I'm back with another tiny house video tour for you this week. What always amazes me about the tiny house movement is how creative people can get with their spaces, especially when they're not only trying to live in a tiny home but also run a business or nonprofit out of it. Today you're going to meet Jesse and Nora and hear the story about their tiny home that also functions as a tiny traveling theater.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
I'm Nora.
And I'm Jesse.
And this is our 160 square foot tiny house. To go tiny sort of happened accidentally. We came up with this concept of a traveling theater that was going to be able to go around the country to places in need, either places after natural disasters, children's hospitals, nursing homes, impoverished areas, to be able to bring a little bit of theater and levity to sort of serious situations. Well, if you're going to show up to a place that recently lost everything, you also want a place to sleep, you need a place to eat, you want to bring your own water. So that's sort of how this developed into not only a stage but also a place we live.
So this full stage element actually slides right underneath and then just gets strapped underneath our trailer when we're driving.
When you show up at a location, you can pull it out just a little bit so you can have however much porch you want.
And because it slides under our trailer, we're still able to have an 8-foot by 10-foot stage. So we've had, you know, a drummer and 4 musicians up there at the same time. The other day we were parked somewhere that was covered in water, so we thought, oh, let's try to push the stage out. And when I went to push the stage out for the first time, my fingers got caught because we've never done that before, and my face smashed against the cedar siding. So this looks a lot better than it did a week ago.
A lot better. But, it looks a lot better. And it was just because he didn't want to get his shoes wet. That's the best part.
Yeah. It's pretty funny too. Like, I've never been in a fight in my life, and like the story behind this is I fell into our house.
So this trapdoor actually opens up 2 ways. We have this ring, so we can do like sort of smaller magic tricks, things like that. This larger square that you can sort of see, if you climb underneath, you can actually get the whole thing to tilt down. And there's nothing cuter in the world than having Lily sort of run up a ramp onto the stage.
So this is our living room. This couch doubles as our guest bed.
One of our couch compartments has its own like storage, so we're able to travel with all the stuff we need but don't always need access to. This was originally designed as strictly a storage loft. It also works perfectly for a small Christmas tree. My background is in not only acting but also puppetry of all things, so I'm a puppeteer. This is a turtle or actually a tortoise rather, that I recently built. So Plowdus gets to come along with us.
So another find that Nora got on Craigslist for 50 bucks is this banana leaf fan. There are house lights, but there also are theater lights. You can also sync the lights to the beats per minute, so I can sit there as a band is playing and tap the beats per minute, and it will sync perfectly with how they're playing on stage. But it's pretty fun to have kind of a indoor light show, but they also function as our house lights. A lot of people ask us what we do for clothing storage. Nora has 2 drawers. I have 1. We hang the rest of our jackets, and we totally get by. We do a lot of coin laundry, travel with a couple weeks worth of clothes, and that's about it. So I do a lot of cooking, and Nora found this at a marine salvage, actually. It's a 4-burner propane stove. One thing I love about this is the oven has a locking system. So when you close it and you push it down, that really locks in place. So when we're going down the road, we never have to worry about that thing smashing open. The boat world definitely figured out tiny spaces before tiny houses did, for sure. And what's great about it is when you open it, pretty convenient how it really kind of tucks away. And again, just clicks and locks in place. And these things are pretty fun. They're mainly meant for a boat, so when you're on the water, you can actually tighten these things so your pots and pans won't move. It's an apartment-sized fridge, but it still keeps tons of food. We even raised it up a little bit. That's why it's kind of at normal height. One thing we wanted was to keep the space as open as possible. Anything that could be attached to a wall, raised up, pushed aside. You don't want to feel cramped. And so I think one thing we love about ours is how spacious it feels. This sink kind of has 3 functions. It's both our prep and sink area. It's also our dishwasher, and we can also do a little hand wash of clothes if we need to. I felt a little guilty putting this in because my dad actually custom built these countertops out of like 100-year-old pine, and then we cut this gigantic 33-inch hole into it. But it's pretty nice. My dad's been a carpenter and he really helped us a lot in this build, so I really love the personal touch these countertops have. Nora found this great little thing. I think we bought it for about $20 online, and it's a 5-gallon water jug dispenser, basically. So you charge it like you do a USB cell phone, and whenever you want water, you just hit this button here, and then it's attached to a 5-gallon bucket under there. So we always have clean drinking water. We can wash our hands if we're kind of dry camping and parked at a Cracker Barrel overnight or something, or wherever we are, a campground that doesn't have water access. We at least have ways to wash our hands, to make coffee in the morning. These little twinkle lights here, they're just run off a big USB power stick. Again, like one of those things that you charge your cell phone with. So that's something that we always have lights, we always have water, and since our stove is propane powered, we have a way to cook. So we can still kind of primitively still live off-grid when we're traveling. I'm a filmmaker and a photographer, and I love movies, and one thing I didn't want to sacrifice was any form of entertaining our friends. We have a projector screen here that pulls down. This same projector unclips and hangs on the side of our house outside. We can really turn this into like a little indoor movie theater, which is a little ridiculous because we have the TV right there, but it's pretty fun. So when we're up at night and we want to watch a movie, we can kind of angle that perfectly. We actually have a little Wi-Fi booster here, and it works pretty well. We could basically be parked out in front of a Starbucks, any place that has a public Wi-Fi, and basically it turns it into a Wi-Fi repeater. So we use Netflix and Hulu. Yeah, we always have a way to entertain ourselves, for sure.
Both Jesse and I felt that bathrooms were sort of the least aesthetically pleasing places in tiny houses, so we wanted to sort of bust that. We decided to use this really loud wallpaper. It turns into like a jungle oasis in here. This door was given to us, and obviously it didn't have these fun little panes in it. It was a clear window door, not very effective in a bathroom. So we were able to find this really neat static cling paper that matched our bathroom kind of perfectly. What's also nice about that is that if we don't have lights on, if we're sort of totally dry camping, there's plenty of ambient light that goes through that window and then also through this door, so we never have to feel like we're shutting light out when things are closed. We do have a pretty decent sized shower. The reason that we have the pan a little bit raised is because we wanted to make sure that our plumbing stayed inside. We use a thing called a HEP VO waterless P-trap, which is kind of cool. We love our Nature's Head composting toilet. It's everything they said it was going to be, which I absolutely didn't believe. We've had no problems with smell. It's super easy to empty. This is so simple and magical that I don't even want to consider what the other option could have been. So this is the Buddha frog. My wonderful family is just as loud as I am,
And this frog showed up at one of the Santa swaps, and it was a cutthroat battle to the end. And that's why this frog will never leave this home. It's heavy and it doesn't serve a purpose, so it now carries our bananas. So this ladder removes here from the bookshelf, easily clips onto this rung. It also clips onto the rung on the other side of the tiny house, as well as is like easily leaned outdoors on the side of our house. So one ladder serves all purposes. This is Lily, best little tiny house dog in the world. But as you can tell, like vicious creature right here. From the gambrel roof line, we put dormers on it. So we continued that line there. I would never suggest to anyone to try to build a third gambrel in, because that's a lot of math.
I remember when we first tried to say like, yeah, we're building a tiny house that converts into a theater, but it's also going to be a movie theater and like a music space. Most people thought we were a little crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. But now that we're actually going out and doing it, the response has been great.
A common question we're asked is, how do you two put up with each other in a tiny house, 160 square feet? And I'm like, listen, if you can build a house with your partner, like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, that was the test.
Collectively drain your life savings. as
Yeah,
you're
exactly. Yeah, under a time constraint.
doing very difficult things you don't know how to
snowing.
do.
This is definitely the easy
Because
part.
now we get to enjoy it.
Yeah, watching Netflix on your tiny couch with your tiny dog
Yeah, pretty rewarding.
isn't too bad.
Thanks for tuning in as always. Please make sure to subscribe so you can see a new video from me every other Friday. See you in 2 weeks.